In Generation 3 OU, the most common fire types are Moltres and Charizard. Flying is the best possible secondary type to have, removing their weakness to ground, granting an immunity to spikes, and an immunity to Dugtrio's Arena Trap. Grounded fire types struggle to find a place in the metagame for this reason, almost always outclassed by Moltres and Charizard. However, Houndoom is an example of a Pokemon with some very unique qualities that can justify bringing it on certain teams. First of all, Houndoom is a dark type. Psychic immunity makes Houndoom much more effective against Celebi and Jirachi than the other fire types are. Teams that struggle against these two common psychic threats may prefer Houndoom as their fire type of choice. Secondly, Houndoom has an excellent ability that provides another type immunity, Flash Fire. This actually makes Houndoom a fire type that counters other fire types. Houndoom is one of the best Pokemon to switch in against Moltres and Charizard, who are famously hard to switch in against. The reprieve that Houndoom provides against these two fire type titans that are only becoming more common in the metagame is very valuable. Last but not least, Houndoom has access to Pursuit. In some cases, he can be a decent alternative to the more standard Pursuit user, Tyranitar. Although Tyranitar is more generally consistent and preferable for this role of trapping Gengar, Houndoom's benefits against psychic and fire threats are good reasons to consider using him. When using Houndoom alongside fighting types, Porygon 2 can be a good addition to help against Dugtrio. Porygon 2 is able to steal Dugtrio's Arena Trap with Trace, counter-trapping and eliminating it. Houndoom also works well paired with Snorlax. Having a Pursuit user on the team means Snorlax doesn't necessarily need to run Shadow Ball to cover Gengar, and can use another useful move instead. Snorlax can also struggle against Celebi being very weak to Leech Seed, and Moltres, who can cripple it with Will-O-Wisp. Houndoom helps a lot to patch up those weaknesses. Even though Houndoom can do a lot of things at once, I do think it can be a bit overloaded at times. Its weakness to spikes and sand and vulnerability to Dugtrio can make it inconsistent at the job of pursuit trapping, and not the best Pokemon to rely on as a counter to the threats that it deals with. Houndoom's frailty and lack of a ground immunity also make it pretty ineffective against Metagross compared to the other fire types it's competing with, which is one of their greatest strengths. Keep that in mind when you use it, and generally I'd suggest using one of the safer fire types for most teams. But this is definitely not a Pokemon to sleep on, and it does have its place in the metagame. It can be very effective in the right circumstances. Grounded fire types do have a tough life in Generation 3 OU, but Houndoom has managed to be a reasonably viable option against the odds. Here's a team from Colin in the ADV community Discord that I think is a solid example of a Houndoom team. He has an interesting set here with Beat Up to threaten a 2-hit against Blissey, and Sunny Day to eliminate Sand, which benefits his Snorlax and Suicune. This team has a very aggressive plan. Instead of Porygon 2 to patch up the Dugtrio weakness, he's using Salamence, who can get a free turn against Dugtrio to set up Dragon Dance. This is a team that aims to use high momentum moves like Spore and Explosion to set up a win condition for the Suicune in the late game. I'll also include my own attempt at a Houndoom team which does have a similar structure, but runs Porygon 2 instead and has a more typical Houndoom set. Thanks for watching everybody. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel for more competitive Pokemon content. You can check out my latest laddering video where I attempt to win a game without any EVs or IVs.
No! What?
And you can feel free to leave any video ideas or other thoughts in the comments.
Cause of what I'm spending, the money got different.
Oh, it's
Cause of what I'm
Magneton!
spending,
Whoa!
the money
KO'd
got
by one
different.
hit! It
Cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending, the money got different. Cause of what I'm spending.